Are you ready to witness what might be the greatest NFL turnaround in decades? The Detroit Lions, long a laughingstock of the league, are now taking the stage in full force. A historic season with 15 wins, NFC dominance, and an inspiring connection between head coach Dan Campbell and Jared Goff are just the beginning of the surprises. And there's more. An explosive offense and skyrocketing Super Bowl odds make it clear the dream is alive in Detroit. Don't miss a single detail of this incredible chapter. Smash that like button and let's dive into the video. Man, the Detroit Lions have pulled off one of the wildest turnarounds we've seen in the NFL in years. This team went from being the league's perennial punchline to straight-up contenders. Back-to-back NFC North titles? Check. A trip to the NFC Championship game last year? Oh yeah. And now they're sitting pretty with a 15-2 record and the #1 seed in the NFC. This ain't the same old Lions, folks. While there's credit to go around, players, execs, you name it, it's hard not to shine the spotlight on head coach Dan Campbell. The guy has become the heart and soul of this franchise. Since taking over in 2021, Campbell's brought a kind of fire and belief that Detroit hasn't felt in, well, maybe ever. Sure, his first season and a half had some growing pains, but now? The dude cemented himself as one of the best coaches in the game and completely flipped the script for the Lions. One player who's felt that impact more than anyone? Quarterback Jared Goff. Remember when Goff got shipped to Detroit from the Rams back in 2021? A lot of folks wrote him off as a stopgap QB, but under Campbell's leadership, Goff has found his groove again, and their bond is something special. After Detroit wrapped up the regular season with a win over the Vikings in Week 18, Goff got real during the Sunday Night Football postgame show. "He gave me life from the moment I got here," Goff said, visibly emotional. "It's been incredible to win with him, to have a coach who believes in me and everyone in this locker room. Through every step of the last 4 years, he's had our backs. It's been an honor to play for him." The love for Campbell runs deep in that locker room, and you can see why. At 48, he's not just brought the Lions back to relevance, he's built something completely new in Detroit, alongside GM Brad Holmes. For the first time in half a century, the Motor City has a team with swagger, heart, and a coach leading the charge who's impossible not to root for. Isn't it incredible how Dan Campbell has changed the Lions' fate? Let me know in the comments what you think about this revolution in Detroit. Now, let's talk about the next step. Are the Lions ready to finally win the Super Bowl? The Detroit Lions are officially the real deal, folks, and it's hard not to feel the hype as they charge into the postseason. Under the fearless leadership of Dan Campbell, the Lions just wrapped up an unforgettable 2024 regular season, shattering records and making history along the way. How's this for a resume? A franchise-best 15 wins, back-to-back NFC North titles. And for the first time ever, Detroit locked up the top seed in the NFC. Oh, and let's not forget their offense, which was flat-out ridiculous this year, posting a franchise-high 564 points and racking up 6,962 total yards. Campbell's crew didn't just dominate, they rewrote the book on what Lions football can look like. And here's the kicker. They pulled all this off while battling through an absurd amount of injuries. By the end of the season, a whopping 21 players were parked on injured reserve. Didn't matter. This team thrived on adversity, and that never-say-die mindset starts with Campbell. 4 years into his tenure, he's become one of the best motivators and leaders in the NFL. No shocker, then, that he's firmly in the mix for Coach of the Year. According to DraftKings, Campbell currently has the second-best odds to snag the award at +300. Leading the pack is Kevin O'Connell of the Vikings, 450, who took Minnesota to a 14-3 record and second place in the NFC North. But make no mistake, Campbell's impact this season has been nothing short of legendary. As for the Lions' Super Bowl odds, they're sitting pretty as the favorites to hoist the Lombardi Trophy. DraftKings has Detroit at +280, ahead of the defending champion Chiefs, 350, and the Ravens, +600. And with home field advantage throughout the playoffs and a battle-tested 6-2 record against other playoff teams, including multiple wins over both the Vikings and Packers, they've earned every bit of that frontrunner status. Last year's heartbreak in the NFC Championship game against the 49ers still stings, but it's also fueling this team's fire. With Super Bowl LAX set for February 9 at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans, The Lions are more than ready to make some noise. So buckle up, Detroit. The pride is alive, the hunt is on, and this squad might just bring home that elusive Lombardi. It's impossible to ignore the work Dan Campbell has done and the Lions' determination this season. From underdogs to Super Bowl favorites, this team represents resilience in every sense. But is this Detroit's time to claim ultimate glory? I think so, but I want to hear your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel for more updates, and let's keep roaring with the Lions on their journey to the top.